Hello and welcome to another 2 Network match report with me, Adam. It's finished. It's at James's Park. It's finished. Newcastle 3, Cardiff City 0. What a fucking belter! Absolutely insanely pleased. I mean, Cardiff were an exceedingly poor outfit and they brought very, very little threat to us. A couple of corners towards the end where they might have got a header here and there. Schar cleared one off the line, but we'll get back to him in a minute. But, you know, ultimately, Rafa Benitez had to put his team out to beat the team that was in front of him, and it was a huge game. It was a cup final, the old football cliche. But we turned up, and we battled, and we fought, and the team spirit. I thought the atmosphere in the stadium was better than it's been, probably better than it's been since the last 3-0 in that stadium, which was against Chelsea on the last game of last season. I honestly believe that, and yes, Cardiff allowed us to play in the way that we did, but we still played very, very well in spite of, you know, how poor they were. And I just thought, you know, it was epitomised by somebody, you know, who I've been sort of slightly critical of on occasion this season for not really creating enough. But Matt Ritchie, I thought, was absolutely excellent today, and he embodied that fight that Rafa Benitez needed and wanted today. He was, I mean, you know, just as a kind of like brief epitome of his performance today, he ended up going off injured after basically winning 3 tackles in a row and just throwing his body on the line for this football club, and it was just fantastic to see. And Rafa will be absolutely delighted with his performance today. You know, he's a right winger playing out of position at left wing back. Because we don't have the squad that he needs to play the formation that he wants. I mean, to win 3-0 with essentially a reserve centre midfield is phenomenal. And I don't care how poor they were. They still had to go out and do that. And Hayden and Longstaff stepped up when they needed to. We needed them today. We didn't have any centre midfielders on the bench. You know, we're without Key, who's at the Asian Cup. We're without Shelvey and Diarmi, our 2 first-choice centre midfielders, not even on the bench. Yet, one of the most important fixtures of this season so far, we went out and did that. And that is brilliant. And that's Rafa Benitez, and that's team unity and fighting for each other and camaraderie and belief. And again, I fully believe the encouragement from the stands really helped to dictate our performance and the mentality, and they were there for the taking. And for once, yes, I think had we had one of those 3 centre midfielders available, if we'd had 2 of those 3 available, I don't think we would have played 5 at the back today. I think we would have played 4 at the back and kind of gone for it. But as it turns out, Rafa kind of went for, like I say, the injuries and fitness of his squad and the lack of depth dictated how he played. And I think he felt with such an inexperienced centre midfield pairing that he needed the extra body at the back for reliability, for that sort of defensive solidity. I don't think he thought there was enough protection there, and that's no discredit to Hayden and Longstaff, who, the pair of them, worked non-stop, ran around non-stop. Hayden chased down. Longstaff's composure really impressed me today. Again, tried a speculative long shot, tried a speculative long ball, which didn't come off, inches away. But I think there was moments where we could have panicked, and he didn't. He played a really nice simple ball. He headed it back to the goalkeeper. He just did the simple things right, and it was exactly what we needed at that point. Rondon ran the line and held the line really well, held the ball up. Ball just like stuck to him on occasion. It was fantastic. Brilliant to see Lejeune again back in the side. You know, his composure we've missed, his long ball distribution we've missed. And the three centre backs that we had, Lascelles, Lejeune and Fabian Schar, just kept everything out. I mean, Cardiff's only game plan was to pump balls long. Yeah, you're not, and yeah, they won a few headers, their strikers, but you're not going to get the joy against those three players in particular because of how good they are in the air. We nullified them. Just their very presence in the team lineup nullified whatever threat they were going to bring. They didn't show that much belief. They had no, they didn't get near they didn't trouble Dubravka. They didn't get near our box mainly in the first half. There were shots from acute angles, and a long shot from far out. So let's go to the first goal. Fabian Schar, playing right centre back, and it was funny because he almost just before he went on this long run, and you'll see it tonight if you haven't watched the goal. There's kicking about on Twitter, as you can imagine, but he feigns to pass backwards, and you can sense the people who always boo and groan when we pass the ball sideways or backwards were just about ready to unleash another torrent of abuse at him. We're just about, and he basically feigned, and he just started running forwards, and he just sort of ran diagonally towards the penalty box, and he was not charged down at all. He did not come under. There was no gauntlet for him to run. I think there was the player, the left midfielder who was trying to chase him down, was always just behind him, and he just nibbled at him, but he used his strength to sort of keep him at bay, and he just kept running, and he just kept running. He must do, and he got outside the box. He was thinking, I'll just keep running again, because there was nobody near him. The waves parted. He could have just walked through, and he almost did it on his wrong foot, his left foot, just curled it round the defender, so Neil Etheridge was completely unsighted, and just tucks it bottom corner, and something out of nothing. It was a bit, it wasn't as good as accomplished as the Ben Arfa versus Bolton, but you kind of got that just something, a very innocuous ball played to him around the halfway line, and then he just keeps on running, and the defence was awful. In fairness, the Ben Arfa Bolton one, I was there for that, and the defence, we've all seen the goal a million times. The defence does just part for him there, but I mean, he starts to go and do it, and he did that, and share what a moment for him. He's had a couple of shaky games in terms of poor distribution, and he went on a really good run before Christmas where his distribution was class, and he was really solid. But what a way to sort of endear yourself to those sort of on the fence Geordies who weren't really sure if he was kind of up to it. And absolutely amazing performances again, because as I said before, he cleared one off the line in the second half. He's sliding out in really important, intercepting really important. There was crosses coming in towards the end when they were trying to push for a. This is at 2-0 when they were trying to push for a goal to get them back in it, and he made some really, really important challenges. As did the rest of the centre backs, as I've been gushing about. They were brilliant. Dubravka was really, really solid. Just held on to everything that you wanted him to hold on to. I think he only punched it once, but it didn't lead to any danger. So we felt really, really solid. And Cardiff have been one of the lowest scorers in the league away from home. I think the stat was before this game that we'd won 10 of the last 11 league encounters against Cardiff, and the only one we haven't was the 0-0 in the reverse fixture at the start of the season. So it's huge that we won that game with being in the relegation zone. By winning that game, we're definitely ahead of them now, ahead of Cardiff. So we're out of the relegation zone, whatever else happens, and I believe are now. So we're in 17th, a point away from 14th, which is, like I say, it's absolutely massive. It's absolutely massive for us to get that. I mean, we don't win that. We're faced with having to get points against teams we probably have no right to get points against. That was the reality facing us. But as it stands now, Crystal Palace lost a ding-dong battle against Liverpool today. But we're on 21 points. Crystal Palace in 14th on 22 points. So we're a point away from being 14th, and suddenly things are looking rosier. But we've got some tough fixes ahead. We've got Man City, we've got Spurs, Man City at home next Tuesday, we've got Spurs away. They're going to be just outrageously difficult games. They really are. But going into February, there are a run of games where we can win, and that was why that was so important. You've got to believe that we probably need about 5 more wins to stay up. So hopefully, you know, we've still got a lot of work to do after today, a lot of work. Obviously, like in this half time, I was really pleased with the effort, how together the team were. We were battling. There were very few mistakes. We were keeping possession fairly well, and you know, possession football hasn't really been our forte for the majority of this season, because we haven't had the team, we haven't had the quality to be able to retain possession as much. So what we've had to do is make the most of the small possession that we did have. But Cardiff just couldn't get near us today, and you know, possession. It felt like we had a lot more, but ultimately we had 52.7% possession. So you're looking at kind of 53% possession today. So still, that's pretty, you know, that's huge for us, because in the last few games it's been sort of 24, 26%. So sort of double that. That's what we do with 50% possession. You know, imagine what we do with 60, 70% and really, really dominating the side. But defensive performances really, really provide us a really steady, reliable platform to go out and attack them. And although we were playing this, you know, 5-man defence again, and I hoped we wouldn't against Cardiff, because what we need to do is go for it. And I still believe he might not have played, let's say, 3 at the back if we had better centre midfielders, because he wanted that protection. But what he did do today, which has been completely different to what we've seen before, is it was a 5-man defence, but it was we were very assertive, and we were very attacking, and we were very proactive today. And you know, in the first, I mean, we had a chance in the first kind of 2 minutes and getting an early corner, and that set a really good precedent for the rest of the game, and set a really nice tone that sort of said, Cardiff, we're coming for you here, and we're gonna keep asking questions until you make a mistake or we breach you. And that's what happened with Schar. There was mistakes, countless mistakes in that Schar first goal. So going in 1-0. Brilliant. What we needed was more of the same in the second half, but I didn't feel threatened by them. I didn't feel that we weren't in control. Had they got an early goal in that second half, the whole complexion of the game would have changed, and we would have gone into panic mode, and we know what would have happened with the atmosphere. So it was crucial that we were able to. We were the ones that were going to get the next one, and we did. And Richard had a few corners, and there's been a couple were cleared, a couple were sort of bobbled around, and they got, you know, bit unlucky, could have gone one way or the other, but he flicked a beautiful ball up. Lascelles flicked it on, and Schar again at the back post. I think I paused because I thought it might have been offside at first, but another left-footed, you know, just steered it in from close range, and that was like, you know, it's 2 left-footed goals from Fabian Schar. He's not even left-footed, and he's a defender. Like, what's going on? Absolutely magnificent from the man. He was a man possessed today, and he was brilliant, and everyone's singing for him, and it just, the place erupted after that, and that was like after the hour mark. You know, before the game, I wondered whether it would be very much like that Huddersfield game last season, where it was a very scrappy, nervy, and we managed to get a 1-0 win very near the end, snatching that one opportunity. But actually, well, result-wise, it was more like the Southampton game, which, you know, it was over. It was over as a contest, that Southampton game last season after the hour mark, where it was 3-0. Whereas I thought this game was not quite as comfortable as that after the hour mark, but because we were 2-0 up and they hadn't had a shot on target, at that point you're kind of thinking, bloody hell, we are going to win here. We're going to see this out, and we continue to not make mistakes. And yes, as I mentioned, after that second goal, they went to pump balls up, but then that's the only plan that they had, and we were so able to nullify that so easily. And yeah, they had a couple of sketchy, you know, there was a couple of sketchy moments from corners, but a couple of deflections here and there, and could have gone anywhere. But really, they didn't bring an A game that is needed in a contest like that. Our experience, Rafa Benitez, his composure and his tactical nous and his motivation to get those players G'd up like the way he did under all this adversity that's going on off the pitch, the politics, the transfer windows, the contracts. He did his job, Rafa Benitez, and he deserves huge praise for that. Because this 5-man defence, more often than not, because we had a lot more possession than usual, wasn't a 5-man defence, it was a 3-man defence with the wing-backs playing largely as midfielders. The amount of runs forward that Yedlin made today was outstanding. Like the kid's got lungs, man. As well as pace, he sprinted like 50, 60, 70 yards like 5, 6 times today, 7 times today, and he was just like a right winger, and he was so dangerous. It was fantastic. Rondon was running channels. He was getting onto the touchline and bringing other players in. The amount of time that he's able to lay the ball off and bring other players in. Jose Perez was excellent today as well. Really creative, always there, playing like lovely little first-time balls, little flicks. He was spectacular. He absolutely deserved his goal at the end. So Cardiff had peppered us a bit more. We went on a counter-attack, and there was a counter-attack, and Atsu had a drive over the bar, and you think, well, at least we had a shot from it. And then we had another one close, just a short time afterwards. Again, down the left-hand side. Rondon was on his left-hand side. I remember somebody behind us kind of shouting, "Take it to the corner! Take it to the corner!" And Rondon, he's not satisfied taking the corner. He wants his goal. He was furious a couple of times that he wanted his goal. So he does like a few lollipops and then just like drives it across the face of goal, edge of the 6-yard box, and Perez just positioning brilliant. Anticipation was all there, and he taps it in from close range to follow up his really, really impressive goal against Blackburn in the week in FA Cup replay at Ewood Park. And I'm really, really pleased for him, because Perez is obviously one of those players that went on that amazing run. Big part of us staying up last season, Perez. So for him to get his goal and have just a fantastic week for him personally, and it was icing on the cake stuff. And as it happens, the lad who was shouting, "Take to the corner," was sort of right, because we did take the goal celebration to the corner in the end. And by that point, the whole stadium's just absolutely jumping, and it's fantastic. It's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling to watch goals go in and mean something, and everyone being happy for it. It wasn't kind of a relief. I was able to really celebrate the goals today, and I've really, really missed that. And I'm absolutely buzzing, and I hope you are as well. This is, as I say, it's far from job done. We've got a long way to go, and we need bodies in. But if we could do that with a few reserve players, essentially, we had Manquillo come on, we had Longstaff and Hayden putting a shift in the centre. We've got Atsu, who I don't think should be in the first team if we actually spent properly, and no disrespect to him. But we were good for the 3-0 today. We were really good for it. As I said, Cardiff didn't turn up. They're a very, very poor team, and that first goal, I think, epitomises just how much trouble they're in at the back. And I think if they don't strengthen in defence, they're in trouble. They're in big, big trouble. I thought the referee was really odd today. I don't know who it was, but he's very inconsistent, and I mean that for both sides. There was some fouls he gave to one team and then didn't give to the other team, and then vice versa. He'd actually benefit Newcastle, but then Cardiff wouldn't be afforded the same benefit. So I thought the referee objectively had a very, very poor one. I mean, he didn't get any big decisions, match-changing decisions wrong. But I mean, they're just like a load of... I mean, he gave Cardiff like a load of free kicks when it was just like a... I mean, it's a contact sport. There was a lot of non-fouls that were given as fouls. There was a lot. Hayden got an elbow to his face, for example. That wasn't even a talking to for the. It wasn't even a free kick or anything. Just very stop-starty, and it was just an odd. He wasn't very consistent at all, and I imagine sort of either manager probably wouldn't be very, very happy with him at all. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. Like I say, it is Cardiff. It's only Cardiff, and we should be beating a team that only came up last season and still spent more than us net. But we had to beat them as a cup final today, and the fact that we've got the 3 points and we're only just outside of the relegation zone still tells us that we're far from safe. But absolutely huge today. Huge performance for everybody. Brilliant from Rafa Benitez, and felt like a bit of the love came back in the stadium as well. We need this. We need to keep this up if we want to stay up, because we need the home support to be as good as it was today every single time. And Ashley got the message as well countless times, about 10 occasions where it was anti-Ashley chants, and this was like straight after goals as well. So everyone would celebrate the goal and enjoy that moment, and then immediately after, everyone remembers that this is all in spite of him. This is all in spite of Mike Ashley. And he needs to get out. He needs to fuck right off. Because we cannot be doing this every year. And we won't be doing this every year if Rafa Benitez goes. Because we'll likely get relegated. And we still could get relegated this season. I'd like to think we've got just enough, as it stands, to not. But nothing's set in stone. No one has a divine right to stay in the Premier League. We need to spend. I'm going to leave it on that. I've been Adam of the Toon Network. Please subscribe and like. It really it helps me out a lot. Please rate it on iTunes and SoundCloud if you listen to the podcast as well. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/the Toon Network 1892, and on Twitter, of course, at the Toon Network. Please get your comments below. I'll try and answer as many as I can without neglecting my family any more than I already do when it's match day. Love to hear from you. Please get in touch if you've got anything to say, and I want to hear your comments on what you think of the game today and who your man of the match was. I'm going to give it to Fabian Schar because he was just absolutely mammoth, but I could have given it to any one of sort of 5 or 6 today. We were brilliant. What a great team performance. Well done, Rafa Benitez, and well done, Newcastle United. Bye-bye.